Hey everyone, how are you doing? Happy Friday. I cannot believe we are already, July is almost over. What in the world is going on? Summertime is just moving right along. And we have had our hot days. Hope everyone has been enjoying their summer, going to the beach, going to the pool, vacation, or just staying inside in the AC, whichever pleases you. Today is not going to be a long topic, but something that I did want to touch on because I believe a lot of us are going through this or are about to go through this. There was a study done recently that stated nearly 1 in 3 young adults under 35 now lives at home. So that range can mostly be between the age of 25 to 34. So for me, and this is just my opinion, I do not believe that we should be the ones kicking our young adults out the home. Yes. Should they be at home? Yes. Let them be at home for a little while. Why not? Why not let them build something so they're not going to end up in debt later on? I have 2 young sons. One's in college and the other one does work full time. I'm not forcing him to move out unless he gets on my nerves now. Okay. Let's get that straight. But I feel like him being here helps me more for right now. And when it comes to that time where he feels like he can go on his own and financially be on his own, then that's fine. It doesn't make sense to push kids out the door at a certain age just because you feel like, oh, they need to learn how to be adults. They need to learn how to pay bills. I get that. So have them pay a bill. My son gives money towards certain bills for me, and he does it accordingly, and he does it on time. He has other bills on his own that he pays as well. So I don't feel like they're not learning that, but are you having them do that? Are you having them put money in a pot or having them save money into a savings account? Because honestly, for me, when you start living your own, and of course we all want our own place eventually, and there's nothing wrong with that, but you got to think about the cost of it. Because we know right now the rent is too darn high. And I'm saying darn because when you post stuff on YouTube, you can't really cuss as much. So that's another reason why you won't hear me cussing much. But anyway, yes, the rent is too darn high. And why should a young adult be out here paying for a 1 bedroom apartment and they're charging like the lowest a decent apartment. You want a decent apartment, a decent community, you're getting charged at least a good price of $1,800 a month. Now, I'm not saying the young adults are making a little money, but that might be most of their income. And then if they get in apartments, they want you to have 3 times your income. Now, come on, that's a little bit crazy. It makes no sense because 3 times your income might not average out for your rent, but you can still pay your rent. It makes no sense to me. But anyway, I digress on that situation. But I honestly do not feel that we should be kicking our kids out at a certain age just to make them feel like they need to start having some more responsibility. They can definitely have more responsibility within the home. They can do more things around the house. They can help you out. They can go run errands for you when you need it. And along, like I said, also help with the bill within the home. Because why should we not all be doing this together? And this is for any community, any nationality. Why should we not all be doing this together? We always hear that, oh, once you turn 18, you got to get out of my home. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. And there's also a double standard on, do you kick your sons out over your daughters? I don't think that should be the case for any child, whether it's your son or daughter. Now, of course, like I said, for the sons, you might give them a little bit more responsibility, but your daughters have to learn too. Why can't they learn how to take on not just cleaning and cooking? Your daughters need to learn how to contribute to a bill as well. If they're capable of working and they're looking for work, even if it's a part-time job, let them do that. let them do something. A daughter should be allowed to just stay in the house until she finds her way. I don't think that's acceptable. If your kids are in college, should they be pushed out the door as soon as they get a job once they graduate college? I don't believe so. They definitely need to come back home, maybe take a little rest before they start looking for work, start getting their resume together, learning how to make sure they know how to talk on interviews that can be taught within the home. And if they are making a certain amount of money, they might want to get a place with somebody, with a friend, get a roommate, and get their own spot. I think that's great. But if that's not the case, we should not be stressing them out to be like, well, what you about to do? How long do you think you're going to be staying here? You can't just be laying around up in my house, not doing anything. Now, the last part is true. You cannot be laying around the house not doing anything. And like I said, whether you're helping cleaning, you're helping with running errands, and if you got a part-time job, you either putting money on your phone bill. There are so many things that young adults can be doing in the process of even finding themselves. Some might not even keep a job right away. They might start a job and might not stay there. Honestly, there really is no longevity with employers anymore, whether the employer's letting them go or whether the person, the child, does not fit within the company and so they look for something else. I know these young adults will leave a company quick within 6 months and they got something else going on. They found something with more money or better commute, whatever the case may be. So I see no reason to have young adults not be able to stay home and find their way. And they might take a while to find their way. You never know what they might pivot into, because even if they have that college degree, or maybe they went to a trade school, or they started working right after high school, they still have to find their way and find out what direction they want to go into. So why not take the stress off of them to have to also add on multiple bills to also them finding their way as young adults? Now, I would give any young adult, I would say, by the age of between 30 and 35, more than likely you're more established. You're finding your way. Your parents or whoever you're staying with allowed you to save some money to get your own place, which is great. And I think that's something that can be done and is able to be done. Like I said, as long as they are contributing in other ways, because if they're working, that means, okay, I don't have to buy your clothes no more. You can pay for your own shoes. You know how to take yourself to the doctors. You know how to keep up with all your things that you need to maintain yourself, your toiletries, all of that that's necessary to you. You have a job now. You can buy the soap you want to buy, the body wash you want to buy. You can buy some of the food. If I cook something, you don't like it, okay, you got a job. Buy your own groceries. Cook your own food. Go ahead and go out there and get some fast food, what you want. Because if you have the means to do it, then by all means do it. Because honestly, let them work that out. Let them figure out, okay, I can go get this and this and this. I can buy this outfit. I can go out to this club with my friends. But they're not asking you for money. That's the thing. They got a little job. They're doing something with themselves. And they're staying out of the way. And they're also being respectful within the home. I think there's no other type of connection or type of arrangement. I think that's a great arrangement for now. And also, in some cases, they might end up with a significant other and they move in with that significant other eventually. And there's nothing wrong with that either. But if it doesn't work out, they might need to come back home. There are plenty of people who get married. They got to go through a divorce. They end up coming back home to their parents because the divorce costs money. You got to pay the attorney fees, court fees, and whatever else you got to pay during the proceedings of the divorce. All that stuff costs money, and that person might have to come back home. I just always feel like if something goes wrong, your child should always be welcome back in the home. Or if they're finding their way, they should be always welcomed in the home. We should not be stressing our kids out. We should not be pushing them out the door. It doesn't make any sense in this economy to push anyone out the door. If you can get some help from them, you raise them to be a good citizen. You raise them to become adults. I don't believe once the child reaches 18 that that's it, we're done. I don't believe that. And again, this is my opinion. This is how I feel. This is how I am handling my kids. Because as soon as you try to walk out that door at 18 and you realize that it's a whole different level of what you thought you could do, you start being stressed out. And why not change that for our young adults that we have now? We need to change that perspective. We need to help them out more, not just have them out there, not just having resources. Give them some resources, let them learn from you. And I will say, of course, some of them are hard headed. They don't want to listen. They think they know everything. You do got that batch. Probably most of them. But I do feel that we can eventually come to a compromise if they feel a certain way about something. And we do have to listen to them. We do have to ask them, okay, well, what are you trying to do? What is that you want? How can we make this work? Or what are you trying to do within a year or two? Because if we're going to do this, let's do it correctly. And some of these young adults feel like, oh, I can do this and this. They might want to be like, oh, I'm ready to move. Okay, great. Go out there. That doesn't mean I'm not going to help you. But don't come at me with an attitude if you feel like you're moving out based off of aggression. Please move out gracefully. Move out agreeing like, hey, thank you for all that you've done. Be grateful. These young adults need to learn to be grateful. And tell them that. Tell them, hey, yes, you can move out, but be grateful for what I've done for you. Be grateful for how I raised you. Be grateful for getting you this far. And always still remind them what they should be doing when they're living on their own. Whether it's for a short-term or long-term situation, we should always be there for our kids at every age of their life. Not just, okay, you're 18, see you. See you when I see you. That should not be the case. And I stand on that fully. A lot of people say you become an empty nester. Not really. Not if they're still in the home. Now, do they do their own thing? Of course. And you can still do your own thing. But I think we still need to keep being there for our kids, son or daughter. We need to just make sure that we're communicating with them and talk to them like they're little adults, because they are. You know, don't talk to them like they're just little kids. Now they're going into another generation, another age bracket of their life, I should say, and they need to understand what's out there, what's going on. So that was my short. See, it wasn't that long today. I think I kept it brief and simple. I hope everyone has a great weekend as we're about to go into a new month, I'll tell you. And I will talk to you soon. Also, just FYI, football is coming close. Countdown time. My schedule might change for the football season, so you might hear me talking about football a little bit more. And this will be for my football fans and everyone that wants to talk football. I would look forward to doing that with you. Okay, hope you have a great day and a great weekend. Bye.